Welcome to another video in our grading series here on Loop Theme Park Adventures, where we take a look at 5 key areas that make up your day at a theme park and give each of them a grade from A+ to F-, followed by an overall grade at the end. In this video, we're at the shores of the East Anglian coast discussing Great Yarmouth Pleasure Beach, which we visited on the afternoon of the 21st of July 2020. Yarmouth Pleasure Beach offers a decent number of rides that you would commonly associate with a seaside amusement park, headlined by their star attraction Roller Coaster, a triple out and back wooden coaster that opened all the way back in 1932, having been built in France in 1928, making it the second oldest operating roller coaster in the UK. Despite its age, Roller Coaster has been fantastically well maintained by the park and still rides really well. They have 3 smaller coasters on site too: Family Star, a Fabry spinning mouse; Whirlwind, a figure 8 SBF Visa spinning coaster; and a good old-fashioned Pinfari Big Apple coaster. These are complemented by a wealth of flat rides, including a disco, pirate ship, skydrop, swings, and a twister with the longest cycle I've experienced in a long time. I'm sure I was on there for about 5 minutes. Plus their 2 slightly more unique thrill rides, Reverse Time, which is a spinning flat ride from SBF Visa, and Lightning 360, a custom-built 360 spinning plane ride where the rider is in control. There is a ghost train in the form of Haunted Hotel, a fun house and a 4D cinema at the park, a log flume with 3 drops, dodgems, and a host of popular children's attractions such as Dumbo, the Teacups, a mini drop tower, and of course the classic Snails ride, which opened back in 1966. The ride lineup is completed by a monorail which takes you around the back section of the park and through part of the roller coaster structure. This gets a B- grade. For the size of the park, this is a really cool selection of rides. Roller Coaster acts as a classic heritage attraction which is clearly well taken care of and rides fantastically for its age. Yarmouth has all the usual thrill, family and indoors attraction that you would expect from this kind of amusement park, but managed to add a few unique attractions which makes their ride lineup stand out a bit more than some of the other seaside resorts we've visited. The Pleasure Beach has the hustle and bustle you commonly associate with a seafront amusement park, with rides everywhere you turn and the familiar smell of donuts and fish and chips in the air, and on a nice summer's day there is a buzzing atmosphere. The positioning of the log flume just to the left of the park provides a fun viewpoint before you enter, and the park is for the most part clean and quite well presented and pays homage to its history. Roller Coaster acts as a centrepiece with its iconic structure standing tall in the middle of the park and can be seen from just about wherever you are. If you've visited a number of coastal amusement parks, then the layout will feel instantly familiar, with a single midway running through the middle, lined with attractions and food stalls either side. Grading this a C, straight down the middle with this grade. Everything is fine, the park is clean and feels generally well maintained, and it's very much what you would expect from this kind of park. Yarmouth Pleasure Beach are operating a limited capacity timed entry system in their efforts to run the park safely while COVID is still a threat, meaning there are 2 3-hour windows to visit throughout the day, morning and afternoon, with evening slots available on the busiest summer evenings. I thought this worked really well. I chose an afternoon slot which gave me access from 2:15 until 5:15 PM. The park was busy enough to generate a decent atmosphere without feeling uncomfortable, and social distancing measures were in place that were being observed by the majority of guests. Hand sanitizer was available throughout the park. Operations were mostly good, with the majority of attractions having relatively short queues which only required a cycle or 2 to clear, with some rides being a walk-on. Staff were professional and friendly, and I witnessed rides being cleaned and sanitised by ride operators on a number of occasions. As I mentioned earlier, rides like Twister, which didn't have a queue, were being run on really long cycles, which is either a good thing or a bad thing depending on how much you enjoy being thrown around. 3 hours may not seem like a long time, but I managed to fit everything in with plenty of time to spare, so there are no complaints here. Grading this a B. The timed entry system is a really good idea in theory, and from my experience also worked well in practice. It allows the park to control the numbers on site at any one time, while also allowing them to bring an overall higher number of guests in throughout the day. I much prefer this system to the more free-flowing, free entry setup that you see at similar parks such as Adventure Island. I comfortably got everything done that I wanted to in just over 2 hours at the park. There are a ton of food, drink and sweet options here at the Pleasure Beach, with a dedicated food court type area featuring all of the seaside favourites such as fish and chips, burgers, hot dogs, donuts, ice cream, candy floss and sticks of rock. There is also a sit-down cafe if you prefer to sit indoors, although there is plenty of outside seating available as well. You also have the option to have your hand stamped and leave the park if you prefer to grab a bite to eat somewhere else along the seafront. Additionally, there is a fully licensed bar on site where you can grab a refreshing alcoholic beverage with coffee, baguettes and snacks also being served. Unfortunately, I didn't sample any of the food on offer as I had already eaten, but I was impressed with the variety available. This gets a B-, a really good selection here with something for everyone, along with the option to leave the park, eat somewhere else and return later should you prefer to do so. A 3-hour timed entry session in the summer season was priced at £12, which I thought was fantastic value considering the vast majority of rides were operating and short queue times meant I got everything done with time to spare. There is nothing stopping you doubling up and booking 2 sessions if you want to spend the whole day or an afternoon and an evening at the park, and even then pricing would still be in line with parks of a similar nature. Parking is available on the seafront, priced at £2.50 per hour or £8 for the day, and all food and drinks on site appeared to be reasonably priced. To put a bit more context on this, I was able to spend almost 4 hours at Pleasurewood Hills in the morning and early afternoon, take the short drive up the coast to Yarmouth and then spend the afternoon at the Pleasure Beach, and the combined cost was just under £30. So plan your day and you can get really good value. Grading this an A-. Great value at just £4 per hour for the time available on your ticket, and if you plan then you can combine other local attractions for an action-packed day out on the coast. So overall, Yarmouth Pleasure Beach gets a B-. A really solid seaside amusement park here, steeped in history but willing to update its flat ride lineup when required. Yarmouth Pleasure Beach has a nice vibe to the place, and by thinking a little outside the box, have found an operating and pricing structure which offers value for guests, restricts numbers on site at any time, while also allowing them to bring perhaps a higher overall number of visitors through the gate across a whole day. I really enjoyed the few hours I spent at Great Yarmouth Pleasure Beach. Have you visited Yarmouth Pleasure Beach? Do you agree with our grades? Let us know in the comments down below and I'll aim to reply to each one. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button and get involved in the discussion in the comments below. If you'd like to follow our theme park adventures, then subscribe to the channel and enable notifications. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/looptpa and on Instagram @looptpa.